Jen Munro, thank you for coming on the Business Spotlight interviews with us.
Pleasure.
I guess we'd just like to start off, first of all, if you could just tell us a little bit about what you do and how long you've been doing it.
Sure. So I run a company or started a company called ISOS International. We are international summer schools for 13 to 18-year-olds, and we operate at St Andrews, Cambridge, and Yale University in the States. And we have been running for 17 years. So our very first summer was 2006.
And can you tell me a little bit about the summer schools?
Yeah, absolutely. So we take students from over 80 different nationalities per campus. We normally have about 150 students for a 3-week residential program at any one of our campuses at any given time. Students choose an academic, which they follow in the morning, and then an elective, which they follow in the afternoon, which are slightly different depending on what campus they choose. So as an example, St Andrews, students can choose from English as a foreign language, debate, study skills, extended essay, youth leadership or creative writing. And then in the afternoon, golf, obviously we're in St Andrews, theatre, tennis, art, or film. So, and what we've really done is we've taken your typical American summer school and your typical American summer camp and kind of merged them together. So it's very much summer school from 9 till 4 o'clock. And then from 4 o'clock onwards, it becomes more of a summer camp environment. We have a bit more of a focus than other summer schools on the sort of social aspect of getting students to interact more with each other, working on their communications and team building, but they don't really know that that's the purpose of it.
Oh, okay. So what sort of 13 to 18-year-olds would be attracted to this sort of opportunity?
So, as I say, over 80 different nationalities, so all over the world, and you get a combination. So you'll have students who want to come to really improve their English, and it's a full immersion program. So that, obviously is very helpful. Some students who just really want to get ahead academically over summer. Some students who really are just quite shy and they would like a different kind of environment over the summer to meet people from different nationalities. We get a lot of American students who are maybe have done the summer camp thing because it's a very much a cultural thing in America and in Canada, have kind of gone, we've done that. We've met loads of American sort of teenagers. We want to meet someone from France or Germany or India. And so they come to us for more of a sort of cultural experience. And so, yeah, I think summer schools have become far more popular, certainly in the UK, than they have in, the past. But yeah, so a huge combination of different students.
So
Sorry, you probably hear a dog in our office, so just in case you can hear that.
Yeah, that's okay. We're all accustomed to that after COVID.
Yeah.
And
we sometimes have 3. It's like a zoo sometimes in this office. It's nuts.
And the kids come in and the door rings, and I just had
Absolutely.
fire alarm test just happened there.
Yep.
And it's just part of the whole Zoom world now.
Absolutely, totally.
So you started the business 17 years ago. What drove you to decide to go into business for yourself?
So when I started, I thought I was 25, and on one hand, I had literally nothing to lose. Possibly made it slightly less scary and less onerous. I think doing it now at sort of 42, when you've got a home or people to take care of, you might be slightly less gung ho as I was. But I think, and it's fairly key to why I set up my own business. My dad was a serial entrepreneur, or as somebody called him years ago, a habitual entrepreneur. And I learned about business around the dining room table. We talked about it, and I saw the reality of it as well. My dad lost everything when I was about 17 years old. So went from, having done exceptionally well to having lost everything. So I saw both sides to running a business. I saw the great part of it, the freedom that it offered, but I also saw the really, really sort of tough side to it. So to some level, I kind of learned about that side before I even had to set up in business. So I knew what the reality was going into it. But for me, I used to want to be a theatre producer. Bizarre, but I did. And I went to university and I ended up at summer camp in the States. Thought I was going for one summer, one-off experience. And within about 2 days had fallen in love with, about 60 camp counselors and all these hundreds of kids and this amazing concept that we just didn't have here. And I went back for 4 years and thought, why do I keep coming back here? What is it about this that I just genuinely love? And I knew that for me, I had to do something that fulfilled everything that I had sort of found at this summer camp. And what materialized was that summer camp created a safe place for young people and for the counsellors, and that is effectively what I wanted to do. So at 25, I thought, well, come on, let's just give a back, let's just have a go. Let's just see if it works. And, I found myself months later sitting in an office that I could ill afford. And we're also working in a restaurant to pay for the office, and hoping that we would get some students to sign up for the summer school that I had randomly come up with the concept of. And we did. We had 51 students the first year. And then the following year we had 180 over 2-3 week sessions. So it kind of it grew very quickly. So yeah, I think that is effectively how it started. Back to your sort of original question. Yes.
So growing up, you saw a lot of the realities, good and bad, of being in business. What would you say has been your biggest learning since you've become a business owner?
Ooh. And this is going to sound trite, some of it, but it's all the things that people tell you, but that until you get yourself into the situation that you deny it, you go, oh yeah. So the one that, and I always say this, is never, always trust your gut. Anytime I've gone against my gut is the thing that I've managed to sort of screw up slightly. Stay true to your values. When I first started ISOS, I wasn't conscious of the company values, and I maybe wasn't conscious of my own values. I knew I had them, I just had never sat down and put pen to paper. When I did, and when I put the company values in place, they very much became a moral compass. They became a decision-making tool for the company and for myself. And anytime I have shied away either from the company values or my personal values, which kind of go hand in hand, it's when we started to make mistakes. So I would say very much stay true to your values, and don't be scared to employ people that are better than you. I think a lot of people do shy away from it. And I've been very fortunate in that very early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I kind of went, right, well, there's a lot of things I'm not good at. So let's get some people around me who are very good at it. And then you can grow as a team, I think, together. And the boring bit, and everybody always says, know your numbers. But I do think, and certainly when COVID hit, that was something that became apparent, that if you didn't know how long you could go without trading, we were 2 years we didn't trade for. And I mean, I've never done so many business plans in my life. It made me feel ill. I would love to never do one again. But, we knew where we were at every given point. So it gave us like comfort to everybody involved, but it also definitely made a massive difference. But I think values are been a massive thing. And also one of the things that I've learned, probably learned when I was very, very young, but it definitely makes a difference in business, is concentrate on the things you can change. If you can't change something, don't put your energy into it. There comes a level, I think, in business where you have to accept certain things. I'm not very good at it. Sometimes I will not accept that. But there are certain things in life where you just physically and emotionally, you just can't change it. So focus on the things that you can change and put your effort into that, I think, makes a big, big difference.
So COVID aside and not being able to trade for 2 years, what would have been the biggest issues you've had to overcome as a business owner? What would stand out in your mind?
I think people. I mean, I love people. People fascinate me, and I think people are the reason I do what I do on a daily basis. And they are what gets me up in the morning, but they are also a huge challenge as well. I think if you get the wrong person in an office, we've a company that's been going for 17 years, but there's 6 of us in head office and we all got on exceptionally well, but you put one person that doesn't fit and forget it. And finding those people, it can be at times difficult, but we very much employ based on our values. We make sure that the people that we have in head office, that they buy into our values and that they've got the similar values. And then we try and also recreate that during the summer with over 120, seasonal staff. But our values have really created our company culture. And I think that has been the sort of grounding on which we've been able to kind of overcome a lot of things. And actually, I would say our values and our culture are one of the things that got us through COVID. You know, that kind of inclusivity, the idea of making people feel safe. So, you know, every day we were like, how do you make people feel safe when they're sitting at home thinking, am I going to have a job next week? You know, so it was all like, right, okay, come on, let's try and really harness these values and make sure they're still alive, despite the fact that we're all, you know, miles apart.
So what would be the qualities that you would look for when you're recruiting? It needs to be the right fit for your culture.
Yes.
What are you actually looking for when you're searching for the next team member?
So a lot of it all comes down to personality in essence. I think CVs, you can see what anybody can do in a CV. It's just theory basically. So really one of the things, anytime I've ever employed anyone in head office, I always take them out for lunch. And the only reason I do that is because I want to see what they're like to serving staff. And for me, it's just a bit of a giveaway as to the kind of person you are. And I'm looking for people who buy into the idea and the concept that we are trying to do, which is build a community, an international community of people, and they understand what the power of building that community is. People who understand what it is to create a safe environment emotionally and physically, and who understand that getting up every day and coming into an office that is safe, what that actually can breed. And that they, on their daily basis, go about doing the same thing. So effectively, they're not a bully. And people that like to have fun and have got humour and like to bring light to a situation, but also go, I'm in this to work hard, but also to have fun as well and enjoy the time that we have with this company.
I'm sure a lot of people watching this, Jen, are going to take something away from that, because it's all well and good to say fun and safe, and but when we get busy and the pressure's on and the heat is on, those are going to be the first things we forget about.
Totally, absolutely. And I'm probably the biggest culprit of it. You know, I don't get easily stressed at all, and you know, people obviously do, and I go, what is it going to be in the front page of the paper tomorrow? No. Right, well, come on, let's like take a break, have a glass of wine, chill out, and let's get back to it. And I think we've got I always say to people in the office, they think I'm hysterical with this. Anytime somebody new in our office starts, I say to them, I want you to have the confidence to screw something up. And they kind of go, what? And anytime anybody in our office comes to me and goes, Jen, I've really messed up. And I'm like, brilliant, what have you done? And they go, why did you say that with such excitement? I'm like, because at least you had the confidence to give it a go. And really, can anybody in this office genuinely screw something up apart from me? No. It's okay, it's fine. Everything can be fixed, unless it's something to do with a human being, being broken in any way, but we can fix it. So I'd rather they had the confidence to mess something up than they sat there sort of being micromanaged and just scared. Go for it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So what are your aspirations for your company in the next 5 years?
So very short term, rebuilding from COVID. We're very much trying to get back up to the same sort of levels and numbers that we were. And then I would say one of our biggest things is maintaining our quality and, again, our values within everything that we do, and looking at how we do grow as a company and not stay stagnant. But our plan would be to do it within the 3 campuses that we currently have, rather than opening another campus and then we're talking about building this ISOS family and this ISOS community, and suddenly you get to a point where you go, oh yeah, we opened in Stanford, but we've never actually been there because there's no way we can visit all 3 or 4 campuses at the one time. We don't know the staff there, so it just runs, it's fine. That's not what we want. And the joy that everybody finds in the office is they can pick up the phone and they know who the parents are, they know who the students are, and they know the people at the universities that we work with. So that's important, to how to maintain that while growing at a nice rate. And I personally, I go out and do a lot more speaking, and we do consultancy as well. So I think that's what probably comes now. Yeah.
So you've got a lot on the go at the moment, and a bright future of growth ahead of you.
Yeah.
How do you balance your own personal life with the demands of running a growing business?
I think because initially I learned that I hadn't. I think when you first start a business, the first 6 years, you're just suddenly like, oh, I haven't been on holiday. Maybe I should do that. So I think because I've learned from my mistakes in the past, and I now value the time that I have out with the business. But I think anyone will tell you, if you genuinely love what you do, you never really stop thinking about it. And I don't want to, because I take a lot of pleasure, and I find balance in that. But I think spending time with people who feed your soul, I think for me is the most important thing. And I do that both in the office and a lot of those people have come through work, which is fine and it's great. But yeah, I find balance in, I get up at, 6 in the morning, I go to the gym before I come into work, and that, it's kind of my time and I enjoy that. So I suppose balance is what you make it, is it sitting at home playing with the dog, or whatever it may be. But for me, balance will always come with spending time with people that I enjoy spending time with. And I have the fortunate position that I enjoy spending time with the girls that I employ in the office. So when we go for lunch, it feels very sociable and it's lovely. And we tend not to talk about work when we go for lunch. So that's quite nice.
Excellent. And then the last question, Jen, I guess it kind of ties into the earlier question about what have been your biggest learnings in business. Mm-hmm. What would you say to anyone who's thinking of going into business for themselves?
Go for it. Absolutely 100% go for it. And I think one of the things I always say to people is, if I had known what iSauce was going to become when I was 25, I would have gone, oh, I can't do that. But you don't start with the company that it becomes. That is a very much a step-by-step process. So start on the first step, take it a day at a time. There are no wrong questions. There are no stupid questions. Ask everybody around you and learn from everybody around you. And everything, I always find it really difficult when someone says, what's your biggest challenges? Because now, as you look back, you kind of go, all those challenges we've turned into something positive at the end. So I do think it's everything kind of happens for a reason, as long as it's how you work through that kind of thing. But I would say running a business gives you a freedom that a lot of other things do not. It gives you a freedom of choice. It comes with some pretty, scary hurdles to get over. But if there is something that you genuinely believe in and want to do, then don't wait for somebody else to go and do it. Go and do it. And if it gets you up in the morning, brilliant.
That's what we like to hear. That's great advice, Jen. Jen, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and introducing the business to the wider community. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today.
It's been great fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.